Okay, in this video, we're going to learn about polynomials, and we're also going vocabulary words regarding polynomials, so that way we can talk about them and be clear. We're also going to learn how to add and subtract polynomials. So for these definitions, I already filled them in so that way I can just give you examples. So a monomial is a real number and a variable. So for instance, 2x would be a monomial. Negative 2xy can have more than one variable, would be a monomial. So let's actually change this to say n variables or variables. A real number and a variable or variables. Okay, pi is a real number, so we could have z, that would be a monomial. Fraction, so x over 5 would be the same as 1/5 x. That would also be a monomial. Okay, so the degree of the monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So we're going to find that right here. What would be the degree of a? Well, we're going to look at the variable and we're going to look for its degree. So since it's x to the power of 2, this has a degree of 2. Here we have two variables, so we need the sum of the exponents. So 5 plus 2 gives us 7. So this is a degree, this monomial has a degree of 7. Constant. Constant is a monomial without the variable, and it has a degree of 0. So 5 would be a constant, any real number. That'll make more sense here in just a moment. So a polynomial can have constants, variables, and exponents, but cannot contain division by a variable. So rather than giving you a definition, let's just talk about what it would or would not look like. Okay, so this could be a polynomial. This is a polynomial. It could have constants, so we could have 4x plus 7, that's a polynomial, but it cannot contain division by a variable. So what would not be a polynomial would be 4x divided by y, or 4x y to the negative 1. Because that y to the negative 1, let me get my line out of here, that y to the negative 1 is actually putting the y in the denominator, and we don't want to divide by a variable if we're calling it a polynomial. All right, so the degree of a polynomial is determined by the greatest degree of any of the terms in the polynomial. So we have to look at all the terms in the polynomial, figure out which one has the greatest degree, and that will be the degree of the polynomial. So for instance, for this first one, I just have this table for you. This is just a constant. It has a degree of 0, and so it has a name, constant. This one has a degree of 1, right? If there's nothing there, it's just a degree of 1. When it's a degree of 1, it is called a linear equation. Here we have 3 terms, so we need to look at the variables in every term and see which one has the highest degree. Well, this here is the highest degree, so therefore it's a degree of 2, and it's called a quadratic. If we look at this, we just have one term, and we have a degree of 2, and we also have a degree of 1, and when I add them together, I get 3, which makes it a cubic. For this one, we're going to look at all the terms and see which has the highest degree. Well, over here, this is a degree of 0. This has a degree of 1. This has a degree of 1. And this has a degree of 4, which gives it the name, a fourth polynomial. So we can name a polynomial based on its degree. We can also name it based on the number of terms. So as we discussed before, a monomial is a single term. A binomial means it has 2 terms. A trinomial means it has 3 terms, and after that we just call it a polynomial. So name each polynomial based on its degree and the number of terms. So for the degree for this one, we have 2, but we also have plus 1. So this would be a cubic, and then it's only 1 term, so cubic not monomial. Okay, how about this one? Well, I'm seeing 3 terms. I need to find the highest degree. So this has a degree of 2, this has a degree of 1, and this has a degree of 1. So 3 terms means it's a trinomial, and the highest degree is 2, so it is a quadratic trinomial. Okay, standard form of a polynomial. So I'm going to want you to write your polynomials in standard form every time, once I explain it to you. So the way we do that is we write the polynomial so that descending order according to the term's degree. Okay, so we're going to look at each term. We're going to figure out which one has descending order. Means we need to start with the highest. Let's make a little note in here. Highest degree, and write in order to lowest degree. So when I look at these polynomials here, this has a degree of 0, this has a degree of 3, and this has a degree of 2. Therefore, it is this one that I'm going to write first. And bring that negative, remember the negative belongs with the term there. So this would be negative 3x cubed. Then my second highest is going to go next, so plus 6x squared. And then lastly, my third highest, this one has a degree of 0, so the constant is always going to go at the end, plus 7. So what about this one? Which term is going to go first? We're going to put the negative 8y squared first, then plus 2y, and then minus 3. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can come up with this one written in standard form, and then rejoin me when you're ready. A hint is you're going to have to combine like terms first before you can put it in standard form. Okay, so to combine like terms, we have 4x squared and negative x squared gives us 3x squared. And then we also have negative 3x, which is a like term with 3x. Negative 3x and 3x, well, they actually just become 0. So there we go. There is this polynomial in standard form. We ended up with just one term. Okay, so now we're going to add some polynomials together, and we want to make sure that we write the final answer in standard form. When I'm adding polynomials together, I can just go 4x squared minus 2x minus 3 and just add the other part on, no problem. I'm going to jump down to subtracting really quick because there's a difference here. So if I'm doing the difference between these two polynomials, and I've already written it as an equation here, you need to make sure that you're subtracting everything that's in the second part. So that means that you need to distribute the negative. That is very important. I'll make a note over here. So as opposed to just dropping the parentheses here, right, when I moved from here to here, I just dropped the parentheses and went ahead and added it together. Here, I'm going to have to make everything in the second polynomial here the opposite sign. So this is going to be 6x squared plus 3x minus 2 minus 3x squared minus 5x plus 8. Okay, after that, it's just a matter of combining like terms. So I'm going to jump back up to the adding polynomials here. And I also want to put it in standard form. So I'm going to try to do that all in one step. I'm going to look for the highest degree in here. So this term has a degree of 2, this has degree of 1, degree of 0, degree of 3, and degree of 0. So this is what's going to come out front here. So this is 3x to the power of 3, taking care of that one. And now the next degree down would be squared, so that means that I'm going to do the 4x squared next. The next degree down would be a degree of 1, so that gives me the negative 2x. And guys, each time I do this, I'm looking to see if there's any others of the same that are like terms with it, but there's not, right? This is the only one degree 3, this is the only one degree 2, this is the only one of degree 1, so I'm just going to write it down. And then finally, I have two terms that are a degree of 0. I have negative 3 and 6. Since those are like terms, I do want to add them up and simplify. And there we go. There's our polynomial, the polynomials that we've added in standard form. So go ahead and try this next one and see if, pause the video and see if you can come up with this polynomial in standard form. Okay, so for this one, we can just drop the parentheses right away. There's nothing special that needs to happen because we're just adding. And so I got rid of that addition sign when I dropped the polynomial, when I dropped the parentheses. And it's just negative x. So my highest degree is squared, so I have 3x squared. My next highest degree is a degree of 1, which would mean the 4x minus x, which gives me 3x. And then I have 2 and 9 that I'm going to put together, which will be 11. Okay, coming down here, we'd already gotten started on this, and the important thing here was to distribute the negative. Now we're going to find the like terms and put it in standard form. So I'm scanning through, and I'm seeing that the highest degree is squared. So I'm going to take my 6x squared and minus a 3x squared, and I get 3x squared. The next degree is a degree of 1, which I can see is 3x minus 5x gives me negative 2x. And then the constants, negative 2 plus 8 gives me a positive 6. Okay, you go ahead and try this one and make sure that you distribute the negative and put it in standard form. Okay, so for this one, we don't want to just drop the parentheses. We want to actually 3x squared plus 4x plus 2. We're going to distribute that negative. So negative times negative x gives us a positive x, and negative times 4 gives us a negative 4. And now I have 3x squared as the leading term. 4x plus x equals 5x. And then 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Okay, that is it. Thanks for watching.